Hello guys, how are you? Today let's talk about vibrations while driving. Certain vibrations can be linked to several types of problems with your car. Normally the vibrations are linked to the wheels, but there are some things in the wheels, in the wheel department, that can be happening. During driving you can diagnose almost exactly what is happening. Okay, so if you have here, I have some traffic, I can explain you this a little bit better. If you are stopped, when you start to drive, the steering wheel starts to do like this. It does on my 155, I'll show you in a minute, okay? The wheel starts to shake like so. The tires are broken. Underneath the treading you have the plies, you have the structure of the tire, and that structure is split apart, it's broken, okay? And every time the tire touches the ground on that part, the tire moves, the tire flexes, and you notice that on the steering wheel, like so. That can happen right about until 80 kilometers an hour, okay? After that, depending on the gravity of the situation, if it is a very small tear on the tire, normally above 80 kilometers an hour, it will stop happening. It's very strange, okay? Above 100 kilometers an hour, or okay, let's call it 80, depends on, again, depends a lot on the tire sizes. From 80 kilometers an hour to 140 kilometers an hour, if you have a vibration, not the shakiness, okay? If you have a vibration on the steering wheel, normally the assembly, the rim with the tire, it is out of calibration, okay? You have to calibrate the tires with those little weights. You have to do that. Normally, if you do a rotation of the tires, every time you do a rotation, the tires that go to the front have to be calibrated to not to do that. Because with age, if you calibrate your new tires today, you put two new tires today on the back. In 1 year from now, you put those new tires on the front. If you do not calibrate them, they will shake. Because in 1 year, the balance of the tires will change. So you have to rebalance the assembly of the tires. Okay, that is the basics of the shakiness of the steering wheel. Another thing that happens, and it's starting to happen a lot on more modern cars, because you have to have less moving weight. I'm talking about the half shafts, the transmission shafts. As you have a lowered car, like mine is a little bit on the front, the shafts are in a position that have to do a lot of strain on the tripods. What happens is, if you have a very high torque, like third gear, I can notice, not always, depending on the gravity of the situation, I can feel the car itself shake. My seat is shaking with the acceleration. As soon as I de-accelerate, the shakiness stops. That means the transmission shafts are bad, okay? Maybe one tripod, two tripods, doesn't matter. They are bad. You have to take those out, and you have to inspect them, like I showed you on my video down below on the description. Another thing that happens with more modern cars is a dual mass flywheel. What happens is, no matter the acceleration that you are, even in neutral, like this, you have a shakiness, a vibration, a very harsh vibration, and almost feels like it is out of balance. The engine is out of balance. The DMF itself, that is out of spec. Like the center part of the DMF is out of balance because it did rotated beyond the limits of the capacity of itself. Okay. Now, talking about alignment, a lot of you confuse the vibrations with alignment. Every time you have a shakiness of your car, normally are these stuff like I told you so far, okay? You can also have a bent rim, you can have a combination of a bent rim and a broken tire. The most common thing is tires out of balance. What sometimes happens also on the balance department, if you have very low quality tires, even if you have a perfect balance on the machine, on the road, the vibration will appear again. That is because the tire is so low quality that on the road, the deforming of the tire as it is passing through the road makes the balance not count for anything, because the balance is on the machine. If you have a rolling rod on the machine to test that, you can, but most balancing machines will not account for the force on the tire as it is pushing on the ground, okay? Normally, no alignment will solve a vibration, okay? If you have a vibration on your car, you do not need to align to solve it. You need to align after resolving the issues that you have previously. You have to take out the wheels to be straightened or put new wheels. You have to take out the axles. Before that, you have to remove certain components of the suspension. You have play on the suspension somewhere. After that, yes, you have to do an alignment, but the alignment will not solve vibrations. The alignment is only used to keep the car straight, for the behavior of the car on the corners, and for the max use of the suspension relative to the ground, so you have a very good performance. On my case of this car, it's excellent. Okay, so the alignment, it is not used for solving vibration issues. One more vibration that can happen is when you are driving your car, everything is good, everything is normal, no vibrations in mid speed, high speed, low speed, not at all. But as soon as you press on your brake pedal, you can feel the brake pedal itself and or the steering wheel vibrate. The reason for that is the brake rotors, the discs that are on the front of the car, that are warped or out of balance or whatever, or bad quality. For example, DRW brake discs, they are terrible, absolutely terrible. Even if you resurface them and in that procedure you are balancing the discs at the same time, they will be the same after a week, okay? So no DRW brake discs whatsoever for these cars, at least. I already used it on other cars, on other brands, makes and models, and the same will happen, okay? So you only use, for now, that is what's working for now on these cars, the ATE or AT brake discs, okay? So if you have the vibration while braking, you have problems on the rotors. If you have problems on the rotors, if they are good quality, you may have to consider the brake hoses may be clogged up and heating permanently the brake rotor. And as soon as you are pressing on the brake pedal, they are already very hot, and in that stage they will be even hotter when you attempt to do the braking. All of that and more is down below on the description. Videos about brakes, solutions and complications about brakes, everything is down on the description, so you to see with more care, okay? So on this car, for example, it happens when I start to drive, the steering wheel is not always, it depends on the temperature of the tire as well. The front left tire, I know this because the day I punctured my tire, I used my spare one and the symptom disappeared altogether. So I know the front left one has the symptom. One way to see if the tire is bad or not, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes the symptom is present, but it is not possible to see visually the tire being deformed. As you can see it, it's shaking, okay? It's doing it like this. Okay? I have several videos that I captured over the years to show you tires that are not good, that have this symptom of the plies being damaged and creating this symptom exactly, and even more severe, like so. About the alignment again, this car, as you know, has a problem with the brakes. The symptom is every time you push on the brakes hard or medium hard, the car veers to one side. It may appear at first that the problem is alignment, but in fact it is not. If you have more force on one side of the car that you have on another side of the car, of course it will veer because the forces involved make the car veer to one side. It has nothing to do with alignment. Again, because the alignment, I have a funny story for that. The alignment, the best way to see if the car is aligned, you take your hands off the steering wheel, you take your foot off the accelerator pedal, and the car has to go straight. Why your foot off the accelerator pedal? Because if you have a differential that has limited slip or torsion, the car may not go straight. My story is Alfa GT Q2, every time after an accident with new tires, after the accident, the car does not go straight no matter how many alignments I do. Full-on four-wheel alignment, best guy ever to do alignments, yes, we did all that, the customer did all that, and still the car does not go straight when accelerating. So the customer showed me, because I asked him, show me the car doing the symptom, and he said, only when I push hard on the pedal, the accelerator pedal, the car veers to the right. When I take off the foot from the accelerator pedal, the car goes straight. Okay, this is getting here too much on the video about alignments, but I'm giving you this just to have a clue for the alignment. So what I did was, I switched, you should not do this, but I switched the left with the right and the right with the left, and you should not do this because the tire when is new and it starts to rotate one way, it will hook to that way. If you turn the tire around, you can break the plies on the inside. Very careful with that, okay? So as soon as I rotated the tires left to right, and you should not do that just for testing purposes, the car started to do the same symptom, but now to the left. And that allowed me to know now that the problem it is on the tires. What I did next was to rotate again left to right, but at this time pass it to the rear and the rear ones to the front. And at this time the car is now perfect. The customer said, oh my god, how could you, me at the time, solve this issue with zero money? And I explained them, because the car has a torsion differential, just every time you push on the accelerator pedal, the torque comes in, and whichever wheel has the most weight to it, the car will pull to that side. So the two new tires on the front were the best there is. It were Continental Sport Contact 2 at the time, but the problem was, one was made in France and the other one was made in Germany. Two different countries, two different factories, two different weights on the tire. And fortunately, the two ones that it had on the back were of the same country. Curiously or not, Italy, but that is not the thing. It could be France, Germany, whatever. It was the same factory to do the tires. The customer acknowledged the situation and put 4 new tires on the car from the same factory. He expressly asked the guy to put it off the same factory, the guy that did the alignments earlier, and the car, voila, perfect, excellent. And that was a car that did 200 kilometers an hour every day. So the guy really has to have excellent tires and excellent alignment. The curious thing of all is, on the service manual of the car, the first thing that appears on the first pages of the book is really that cars with torsion differential cannot have different factories of tires, different manufacturers of tires on the front axle. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this story. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Down on the description there are a lot of videos related to this symptom, related to these things, related to brakes. For example, I did a video next to it about emergency stops what to do when that happens, when you have a full-on accelerating car and you cannot stop the car. You will stop the car for sure. Okay, so I have down on the description videos for that, and videos related to all things of the cars, to all areas of the cars. Also down on the description I have links for helps for the channel. I have a PayPal account down on the description. I have the link for it. If you want to consider a help for the channel, I really be very grateful, because this is a new journey of my channel. This is a very nervous journey for me right now, and I really have to have some form of security to carry on with these things. A lot of new stuff is coming, and I hope you are around to see it. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.